Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near-death experience of Miguel, and this experience occurred in 1994 and was documented on January 21st of 2018 and was translated from Spanish. So originally in Spanish, and here we go, open quote. I was surfing on a fine winter's day. The sky was covered with black clouds. The waves were so enormous that they cut off the maritime route to the city. Very far from the mouth of the river, while the waves were at their peak, I was surfing one of them. I hesitated for an instant, trying to decide whether to go through the wave or on top or below it. The wave started to break. Before I decided where to enter it, it threw me in the air from the crest of the wave. As it fell on me, I thought to hang on to the board, but cord that was tied to my ankle broke, so that wouldn't work. I thought, trying to get up to the surface, but I was disoriented. I couldn't tell whether I was looking high up or below. Everything was dark below the surface. I started to breathe in water. This was the feeling I had in reality, that I breathed, but for sure I was drowning. I wasn't in agony, but completely the opposite. The darkness had become clear. I saw crystalline clear water while I felt at peace. There was a very intense light, as if on a hot, clear summer's day. I had the feeling of floating under a totally calm ocean. I felt a peace and serenity that I have never felt before or since experienced. This feeling was something beyond compare, like an immense emotion of pure well being. I must have lost consciousness because it was the last thing I remembered until I ended up unconscious on the shore. I was with my fiancée, sister, and my friends. When I came to my senses, they said that I had been underwater about 5 minutes. The surfboard had appeared on the shore, but they couldn't see me. I had drowned. Although I had been dead for some time, I ignored the explanation because I knew what I had seen and felt. I never feared death. I only worried about leaving things that I had to do or not being at peace with myself when it happens. I am a person with high ethical values, but I still have questions. I try to make my actions to contribute to this world and to make it a better place to live. If we all do this, a great number of failures could be avoided, and we would have much happier lives. Being aware of this, I try to live according to this principle. I also know that on the day of my death, I will again have this experience. I am ignoring whether it is because of the existence of a God, a greater other, or simply a natural chemical reaction occurring in the body. But what I am sure of is that it will be decided from a perception that I have in my own life. This is the conclusion I have extracted from this experience to understand the meaning of rest in peace. End quote. See about these questions. Question: rating your highest level of consciousness. Answer: never again have I seen myself in such a danger. I became more prudent. Question: at what time during the experience were you at your highest level of consciousness? Answer: just before beginning to breathe water, as I have mentioned, while always having air in my lungs and fighting to get to the surface. Question: did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer: it was as if everything else had stopped existing. My mind was a blank, free from all thought or feelings other than that. I could say something like I understood everything and nothing, because it is as if nothing more than that exists, and there was nothing else to understand, because it was pure feeling. So that although in my answer it said no, it introduces the hue that there is nothing to understand, just to feel. Question: comparing your vision. Answer: my vision felt normal, as if I could see it all totally normally, although it was clearly so. I could see light and could feel everything was calm, But in reality, the sky was overcast with black clouds, and the weather was producing giant waves. Question comparing your hearing. Answer, I don't remember. The feeling with which I identify the experience with is the view, the light, and the feeling, the sensations, although my body was left without its vital functions. Question, did you see an unearthly light yet? Answer, yes, under the water. The nearest thing would be looking at the sun, but it was a much more intense light, intense light, intense and white. Question, what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer, while fighting, powerless in the situation. I was overwhelmed by a power that I had never experienced. Then peace, serenity, harmony, fullness, happiness, capital H. There are no words to describe it. Question, what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer, unaffiliated agnostic. I always say that I don't believe and that I don't not believe. I am agnostic from the age of 15. I think that from a scientific point of view, the most logical position is not to deny or affirm the existence of anything. Question, have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer, no. Question, what is your religion now? Answer, unaffiliated agnostic. I continue in the same thoughts. Question, did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? Answer, content was entirely consistent. I don't know how to describe it, not scientifically nor spiritually. I can't. As I have already said, the only thing I experienced was the sensation, destitute of data, except feeling peace, fullness, harmony, and happiness, capital H, beyond compare. This is all that existed in this moment, nothing more. Question, what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer, unknown. For me, the most important thing has always been to live by my principles. The experience hasn't changed me, just reaffirmed this. Although I continue without knowing if there is something afterwards, the knowledge that death is nothing to fear, but is a moment of bliss, its influence is to face life with greater serenity, less worry for the future, and be more centered on fulfilling my aims. They say, live your life the way you want to live it. I say, I don't know, because it has been reaffirmation rather than a change. Reaffirmation. It's been a reaffirmation rather than a change. Question, was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer, yes. The feeling that I had at that moment is truly indescribable because it is beyond any comparison with anything else. It goes further than any other level of well-being. Question, how accurately do you remember the experience in comparison to other life events that happened around the same time? Answer, I do not know how my remembrance of the experience compares to my remembrance of other life events. As I have already mentioned, it is incomparable with anything else. Although the indelible memory is one of that feeling, I didn't perceive it through other senses. Question, no psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts because of the experience. Question, are there one or several parts of the experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer, only one. The feeling of plenty. Question, have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer, yes, that I drowned. As you know clearly, many people around me were on the beach. But of the experience, it never came up in conversation. I never spoke about it until many years later. On the one hand, because I didn't feel it necessary to do so, and on the other hand, I didn't have a clear explanation to give them. It's just that before any possible questions as to what was it that happened, my response would be that I just don't know. Really, it is true. I don't know. I began to speak of it totally normally. It was, for me, another experience. I am not going further. But once I start to say it, my curiosity on this subject is enlivened. I don't suppose that there would be that many people with that variety of experiences. Question: what do you believe about the reality of your experience? Answer: experience was definitely real. I have always considered that what happened was real. Now, what it was and how it happened, if its origin is supernatural or seen just as a chemical reaction of my own body that created an illusion, I tend to ignore it. I have always considered it real, though. Now, what it was and how it was, I tend to ignore that part. Is there anything else you would like to add about your experience? Answer: on having the experience and lived through it, I have had the curiosity to know if there are others that have been through it and how it was for them. We've heard some of those stories, Miguel, and isn't it interesting? And thank you for sharing that with us. Different people, how they react, how they interpret it and incorporate it in their lives. And I don't know. I didn't see that part, so I don't know. And I can appreciate that. I mean, you really can't comment on things that you didn't experience. We're just asking for your experience, and we get those. And just like the many of the others, this is wonderful. And I don't know. It's very interesting how it works. We'll all find out, I'm sure, and some of us may already know. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.